you have a particular number in mind? I know that it needs some work to it, you know, and obviously it's kind of a unique situation because you're kind of what I consider in the family because with Lauren and you know her family and things like that. So I want to, you know, I have a number in my head, but I want to see, you know, did you have a number in mind that you're trying to get from the property?
Well, yeah, it has. I mean, like it needs to be at least 275. Just because of other things that I've recently sold. It's, you know, 4 bedrooms, you know, it's got, you know, new, well, we just planted a new tree. Well, maybe that was a couple years ago. New tree. We put a new roof on it several years ago. So just things like that. It just, you know.
Gotcha. I think that number is going to be pretty hard for us to get to. The highest sold property I've seen around there that fits the same square footage is 260, and that's with, you know, being in good condition on the inside, and from what I understand, it's going to need some updates cosmetically on the interior, as far as like new carpets, painting. Some of the bathrooms and kitchens, yeah, the bathrooms and kitchens probably need to be updated. So we're going to be significantly less than that 275 number for sure.
Well, can we meet in the middle and do 265?
No, I'm saying 265 is what it would be worth if it was fixed up. So that's like what I would want to sell the property for after I put the repairs into it. So I'm going to be much lower than even 260, because that's what I would list it for if I fixed it up. Like if I put all new flooring, painted the interior, fixed up the kitchens, bathrooms, all of that, I would list it at 260. I think that's the max amount that this property would get on the market.
Well, I cannot go down to 250. I mean, that's just, I know you got a lot to put into it, but
yeah, I think we're way off, because I mean, I'm not talking about like I'm nowhere close to 260. I mean, I'm gonna be starting with a 1 in front. So because I'm looking at, if we're gonna be putting new flooring, paint, kitchens, bathrooms, square footage is like 21, 25. I'm probably gonna put $40,000 or $50,000 into it to sell it for 260.
Well, then you can't start with a
1. Well, yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna list it at 260 when I'm all done, and I'm gonna put 50 into it, I'm down to 210, and then I want to make some money, and I have holding costs and things like that. So, you know, we're probably gonna be way out of the range that you're wanting us to be in. So, you know, I didn't know that you were wanting that much for the property, and, you know, I apologize if that was misleading to you, but, you know.
No, I haven't discussed numbers with anyone, with Lauren or, you know, Alex or whatnot. I just, you know, I'm not a, you know, complete, you know, I have to make some money as well, and
right.
You know, it was purchased at 200,000, so I'm not going to lose money on it. Does that make any sense?
Right. How long ago was it purchased at 200?
Probably 10 years ago.
Right. And since then, have any of the interior been updated?
Yeah, like we put a new sink and disposal in. I mean, like, we're not talking about, there's no sense in me going in and repainting a house when the same tenants are there. There's no sense in me going in and recarpeting a house, especially when there's you know, several people in and out of that house. You know, that just doesn't make sense for me money-wise. Right. But as far as like a new roof, you know, anything and everything that ever needed to be fixed, it was typically replaced.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, I get your position. You know, unfortunately, as landlords, because I'm a landlord. I mean, I own quite a bit of properties, and when you get into the situation of, you know, I bought it for X amount, I've owned it for, you know, a decade, and if you've had tenants in it for that decade, I mean, they've done a lot of wear and tear to it. So that's where that comes into consideration on, yeah, there's a new roof, but that doesn't fix the issues with having an outdated kitchen or outdated bathrooms, or even bathrooms that have just, you know, had wear and tear on them with tenants. Same thing with new flooring, things along those lines. So yeah, it's great that it has a new roof, and even some of the other smaller items like a new kitchen sink and a disposal and things like that. But there's still going to be quite a bit of cosmetic work that needs to be done just taking it from a square footage standpoint. You know, we're going to have to paint the entire interior. We're going to have to put all new floors. You know, there sounds like there's going to be some drywall work to remove some of the uh, wallpaper that's, you know, in the kitchen and things like that. So all of those things we have to take into consideration. Also, the age of the appliances and just all of those things that adds up to a significant amount of money. So that's where I'm coming from. Just looking at it as like, you know, where I feel like the top dollar is 260,000. What I have to do to get to that number, I have to take that into consideration. And just based off of 2,100 square feet, you know, we're looking at somewhere between $20 and $25 a square foot for all those repairs to get that fixed. So that's where, you know, I can give you a baseline number. I mean, without seeing it, I would really say it's $20 a square foot. So
Okay.
that puts us at what, 42,000. I would probably start at 153,000.
Oh, there's no way, man.
Well, I can show you how I'm getting to that number. For me, it's just a mathematical equation. I take the 260,000 and multiply that by 75%, so 0.75. What that 25% is there for is for when I sell it on the back end, the realtor fees, the closing costs, my holding costs while I own it for the utilities, the taxes, insurance, things like that, and then my profit.
So are you going to sell this? Because the one thing that I was under the impression of was that you're going to continue to allow Alex and Andrew to live there.
No, my intentions would definitely be to fix it up and sell it on the market.
Okay. Well, you might talk. That's the one thing that, I mean, why I, you know, decided to talk to you guys is because, you know, I offered, you know, Alex and Andrew, you know, first opportunity to purchase the house. That's not within their means right now, but they want to stay there. And so, you know, I'm pretty sure that, you know, Alex is under the assumption that, you know, they won't move.
Yeah, I mean, we would obviously work with them. I mean, you know, Lauren's my employee, so I want her to make sure Alex is in a good spot, and so Georgia's taken care of and things like that. But I think they're definitely under the impression that if we purchase the property, that they're going to have to find a new location. We obviously wouldn't be ruthless about it and say you got to get out right away. We would make sure we give them time to find a new place and such. I mean, we might even have a place ourselves that might be a better fit for them as well. So,
I mean, as much as I can say, you know, these guys have been the best tenants I've ever had.
Right.
And that says a lot because I own a lot of properties.
Right.
So, you know, from, you know, just a fifth grade teacher that lives by herself, to these guys are hands down 1,000 times better.
Right.
And that's, you know, a lot. You know, when I first took on the properties, they were my grandmother's properties, and
Right.
I wasn't sure about just, you know, having a couple college guys, you know, living in the house, but they were being great. So I want to take care of them.
Yeah.
They've been really great to me.
Yeah, and obviously we have to make sure that they're taken care of because, you know, that, like I said, you know, Alex takes care of Georgia, and so we got to make sure that, you know, we you know, get Alex in a good place and all of that. So that would definitely be taken into consideration, and we would work with them to make sure that they're in a good spot.
Okay. Well, I just honestly, I just don't know that selling it at $153,000 is worth anything at this moment. I mean, like you said, the comps, I understand that you're going to have to put, you know, $40,000 into it, but, you know, even if you put $40,000 into it, I still don't think, I understand you want to make profits, but I do too. And I'm not, you know, in this game to lose money. I just need to, you know, move on to some other, you know, things in properties that, you know, I too can make money at. But losing, I mean, like, that's just.
Well, what about this? I mean, you sound like you're an investor as well. So, what about getting creative with the deal? And maybe we can bring the funds to fix it up, and we sell it together, and we joint venture on selling the property.
Okay, so what would that entail?
Well,
I've never done a joint venture, so.
Well, I've done a lot of them, so I love working with other people. And the one thing that I love about real estate is that you can be super creative with it.
Yes,
you know, I mean, yeah, I could totally be one of these guys that's like 153,000, take it or leave it. But at the end of the day, it sounds like you're going to leave it. So what benefit does that give me? But I could also sit here and say, well, things change drastically if I don't actually have to purchase the property. For example, there could be a way. Do you have an underlying mortgage on the property?
No.
So it's free and clear. So there is a way that we could do it a couple different ways. You could either keep the property in your name, and we could bring the funds to closing, or not to closing, to bring the funds for the rehab. And then when we sell it, we agree on, you know, obviously we would recoup our rehab funds, and then an agreed amount of set profit for us out of the net proceeds. Or the other way that we could do this, which could make you a little bit more passive in it, is you could seller finance the property to us. So you essentially become the bank. So you could sell it to us for X amount of dollars. We would make it higher than the 153,000, and then we would bring the money for the rehab. And then when we sell the property for 260, then you would get your bulk sum later on when we sell it. So you would essentially become like a mortgage company where you would actually be the bank, and then you get paid off when we sell the property at 260. And in the meantime, you would make interest on your money.
Okay, so like interest on the you know, on the 260, is that what you're talking about? Or
well, we would
interest on just like what you were talking
well,
about?
we could go higher than 153. So because you got to think, when I purchased the property, there's expenses that are associated with that. So if I don't have to actually purchase the property, I would be willing to pay you more, where you could profit that compared to, you know, a lender or you know, title companies and all these things that take, you know, funds from closing on the property itself. I could funnel those through to you. So those are the two different ways, just off the top of my head, that we could do it. I mean, personally, for me, I like the idea of the joint venture. It would just depend on how much of, you know, say if we sold it for 260 and we put 40 into it, that leaves us roughly 220,000. We're gonna have to pay a real, well, let's say 260,000. We got to pay a realtor. You've got a property listed right now. How much are you paying that broker to list that property?
Honestly, that's not my property. It's my sister's, so I have no idea.
Gotcha.
But I do have a real estate agent that I would prefer to use, if at all possible. I just, I'm friends with a lot of people in Denton and a lot of realtors. My best friend's a realtor, and I just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So this guy is fantastic at what he does, but he's outside, and no one gets their feelings hurt.
Right.
So one person over the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do you think it's like, would they charge you 1%, 2%, 3%? Just off the top of your head, I mean, just so I can run some numbers.
He would probably charge me, maybe 2% at the most. He would definitely not charge me 3%.
Okay.
I could probably even, get him to do, 1.5%.
So let's call it 2 for the sake of doing this, and then we got to pay the buyer's agent 3. So 5%, that costs 13,000. So 260,000 minus 13,000 equals 247,000. Then we subtract the 42,000 for repairs. That's 205. How much are taxes?
That doesn't seem. I understand that you're. I'm not going to take exactly half of it, but it seems like we're getting real close to that same 153 number.
Well, I'm just trying to get down to what it's going to look like.
Okay.
Minus 54, 51. So we're going to be right around. We'll call it 195,000 is what I would see net if we sold it at 260. We put 40 into it and we sold it for 260. We're going to be right around 195 in net. So yeah, if then you were to split it with me, yeah, or give me some kind of split off of that, yeah, we're probably going to be somewhere close to that 150 number. Yeah, it's funny how math works out that way. It always gets you back to where we're going to be. The only other thing that I can think is if you wanted to do it yourself, you could do that, but that's part of what I thought the motivation was there, is that you didn't want to do the work yourself.
You mean the rehab work?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really don't. No, I cannot. I'm sorry.
When was the last time you saw the inside of the property?
It's been a whole minute.
Yeah, because when I was talking to Lauren, it sounds like it's a bit gnarly on the inside. I'm sure they're great tenants, but they've been there for what, like 5 years at this point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like it's in pretty rough shape on the interior. So
God bless.
that's just part of the issue. And I would be fine with going out and like walking the property with you and kind of showing you what we see.
Yeah, let's do that. There's no harm in that.
Yeah.
We're not, binding contract if we do that.
Right.
I know that's, time out of your day, but at this point, that's, the best I can do. I can't comfortably say, okay, let's do it for 103. I'm sorry, I just can't. I would be silly just to accept that. I understand you working through the math, and I've done, the math on my end. But I don't know, man. If you're willing to do that, I'm willing to do that. And then what we can, what we can do in the middle, let's just see. I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to, just, figure out different options that the both of us could, have doing that. I can't just I would be a dumb businesswoman if I just accepted 153 over the phone for the first time we talked to each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. The only way I would kind of combat it is, I mean, have you had anybody pull comps for you and tell you what they thought it would sell for if it was fixed up?
They suggested 210 to 250.
Fixed up or as is?
As it.
So I think that might work if you were to list it on the market as is. You know, I think it's going to be much closer to the lower number. But even if you were to get 220 on it, you know, and then you pay the 5,000 and realtor commissions, that's 11,000. You're down to 209, and then you're going to have the property taxes for this year plus the closing costs, because when you're the seller, you pay the closing costs when you're on the retail market. So, I mean, you might be able to net more that way. I will also say that there's a strong possibility that, you know, you could list it. I've got 2 properties on the market in Denton right now that we fixed up over in what is that place called? I want to call it the Con Plantation. That's not right. It's over off of Lantana is the street. Let me look up this stupid subdivision. I can't remember. Oh, Preserve at Pecan Creek. You know where that's at?
Yeah. Remind me though.
It's over off.
Lantana, I know, is in Lantana.
It's east of 35, right over by Buc-ee's.
Oh, okay.
And it's
How
this.
big is that house?
I've got 2 on the same street, 6602 Lantana and 6501 Lantana. I don't know what I was thinking, buying 2 houses on the same street. That was dumb. But the one's right? Yeah, right. One's 3,400, one's 3,200. And I've got both of them listed at 350. Actually, one of them I just lowered to 340. And those properties have just been sitting. I got this one that's been on the market for 146 days. And I mean, honestly, we're not getting showings. And it's a beautiful house. Like I've gone and been like, okay, I'm gonna critique like what's going on here. And there's nothing wrong with the house. And so that would be another concern of mine, is that, you know, days on market could be a little bit long on this property. But
and I'll be honest with you, that does worry me as well.
Yeah.
I just I don't have the patience right now to deal with stuff like that. I've just had some health issues, and you know, just don't want. I'm at the point in my life I just don't want to have to worry about shit like that. You know, in the past I had rehab, I had painted, I have done scrub, I have done whatever I've needed to do to save costs. But in today's mindset, I don't want to do that shit.
Right.
I can do some of it, maybe. I don't know. I hear that coming out of my mouth. I'm like, maybe not. But I just,
So what are you thinking? What would be a number that you could swallow?
I mean, I would have to settle it.
Come on now. Go on. We gotta do some math here. You know that doesn't work out. I didn't tell you that 275 number. That was something you manufactured. That wasn't me.
I'm in it for business, just like you are.
Absolutely.
It's silly to get into this if you're not gonna, be business wise about it.
I know, but you have been wise. You've been collecting rent on it for 10 years.
Yes, I have, and that's been wonderful. I just, there are things that I just, I've got to release some things at the moment just for, my sanity.
All right. So You want to start at 200, and I want to start with 150. Let me see. Let me burn this calculator real quick and see how high I can get. 260. I'll go to 80%, which is like I can barely feed my kids when this is over with.
Oh, come on, man.
And 42,000. The only person making money on this is the contractor. You flipped the script on me. See, 6 years ago when I was a contractor, I would have made money on this.
You can go back and contract it and rehab it?
No, I don't do that anymore. My days of going to Home Depot to pick up one sheet of sheetrock are over. So that was a miserable experience. Boss man, we're one doorknob short. Can you drive 45 minutes to get us one doorknob? Oh my goodness, that went my day.
Right. I mean, that's how I felt about, like tenants something, and all of them, just got, basically 6 feet left, and you have to go buy another freaking can of paint.
See, I'm trying to alleviate those problems from you. I'm trying to take this property from you, and you won't give it to me. So, what about 166?
175.
Golly. Okay, let me do the math there. 175. 60. What is this? 82% minus 42,000? No, it's 260 times 83% minus 42,000. No, we're still not there. 175 is really hard. I mean, golly.
Okay. You've given 153. Give me your best offer. Come on. I'm family. You said so at the very beginning.
You're right. I did say your family. Hold on. 260 times the family discount of that. $168,637.
All right. I'm not saying yes, but I do need to just think about it. But I would is there any way you do a walkthrough with me?
Yeah, I'll do a walkthrough with you, but I want you to sign a contract before then. You know how many times I've gone out to houses to do walkthroughs with people, and then they're like, I slept on it last night, and this $168,000 house is worth $300,000. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what just happened? I drove 45 minutes, and you went into outer space. I can't do this. I could show you all the things that we're gonna do to get you that $42,000 number. I know that's a good number for us. How about this? Are you gonna say you need to think about it no matter what?
Yeah. I'm sorry, love.
You're one of those people. I get it. I'm not one of those people.
I didn't get where I am today, just throwing out crazy answers.
Oh, I did. I'm definitely not one of those people. See, I was willing to come up. Look at that. You got me up $15,637.
And you know what? I appreciate that so much. And I'm not being sarcastic. I really do appreciate it.
All right. How long do you need to think about this before I start blowing you up?
Just give me 24 hours. Not even 24 hours. Just call me tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Anytime. Sounds good. I'll call you then.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Olivia. Bye.
All right.